Hi friends, this is Sarah from Crafting and Relaxing. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Smash That Small Pad for October. This is a collaboration that I do with Bourbon Creek Crafts, who is our friend Beth here on YouTube, and Stampin' Cat Kathy on Instagram. The links are down below. Because this is a really small collab, I can chat a little more. So I wanted to talk to you about dies a little bit. And there's one other thing I want to show you about my card bases, and hopefully I'll remember. I hope you have some coffee or tea and you're crafting and relaxing today. First of all, for this month, I did Autumn Wishes, which is a Gina K paper. Gina K makes gorgeous stamps, amazing fonts, everything wonderful. I absolutely love her products. Like if she called me up and said, do you want to hang out? I'd be like, absolutely, tomorrow. This paper, I would not buy again. I don't know. I didn't love it. I'm not sure. I had the package at one point a while ago. I think I bought this paper, but my friend Noni had some Gina K paper and it was different. It was thicker. It was just different. So maybe there's different styles. When I bought this and I unpackaged it, Noni remembered me saying it wasn't what I was expecting. So I don't know. And I bought it quite a while ago. I think I bought it on one of my trips, like to different states. I think it might have been by my nephews. I have 11 cards here, which is a weird number, and then a bunch of ephemera for a journal, and then some scraps. And what I found was a bunch of my scraps are really neutral and boring. So I'm going to put them in my scrap box, but I'm calling this done. I did not love this paper, which I think you'll know because it's covered up a lot. The acorns, yes, my friends say they're acorns in here. I thought they were apples for a long time. I was like, what is going on? They don't have the little notchies on the top. And the flowers are a little cutesy, and it's a really intense pattern. I mean, if you look at that, I think you kind of have to knock those flowers back like has been done here. But I did really like this leafy one. I could have used a lot more of that one for sure. I have little envelopes. You know I love envelopes, right? I put them in journals. I don't put them in cards when I mail them because it just gets too thick. Be really careful when you mail your cards that they're not like a 1/4 inch. They have to go through the slot at the post office. And just because they get through at one end, if you put a bunch of ephemera and stuff and it slides, if it doesn't fit through at the other end, they'll bill your recipient. And you don't want that. So be really careful. Sometimes when I send cards out to you guys, I don't send you the cutest, chunkiest ones because I need a super flat one so I can put a couple pieces of ephemera in it. I know, sorry. The hand delivery, that's where you get the really big dimension and fun pop-ups and stuff. Okay, so I have some fun envelopes. Then I have just some fold-over things, and they're little tiny notebooky things is what they are. And my apologies, you know, sometimes you watch some videos and you get inspired. I've been watching treasure books always. If you're a journal maker and you don't watch treasure books, you need a pot of coffee or a pot of tea and to sit down, because I tell you right now, you're missing out. Treasure books, that's Natasha, I think. Yeah, Natasha. And then I've also been watching some ideas from, I think her channel name is Silver and Sparkles. Just check her out on Instagram and stuff. Both of them did little notebooks at some point. I don't know whose this is more like, but I just took scraps. I went through my scrap bin and I said, maybe these aren't going to be great to write on. Maybe they are, but they're really fun to look at. And if you wanted to write on them, the backs are all blank. And then I had stickers from that really bright journal. You wouldn't even guess, right? With the shaker on the front, the I Am collection. Look on the bright side, so happy. I just took the yellowish ones out of there because I thought I can make that work for fall. Then for my cards, I did a lot of general sentiments. I'm trying to get ready for the craft fair. I also remembered to use my tiny little stickers because we talked about those in SOS, Smash Our Stash. So thanks, Beth, for always reminding me what I have in my stash. These may have been card sketches. I don't recall. Do you see it? I mean, it's essentially the same thing. Now, I like the oval. I like it when it combines a couple of the different stripes. I just think it's fun. And I have a little oval die buying problem, so definitely I like ovals. I always put a little scrap of something on the inside. Oh, let's talk about that. That was one of the things I wanted to tell you. When I first started putting scraps on the inside, let me show you a different one where it goes across the bottom. I was always putting them right at the very edge, okay? I would just line it up. It was nice and easy, and then I would close it. And what I found is, I know you're shocked, my card bases aren't always perfect. So what I started doing was I don't put it to the very, very edge. See that? And the reason is because then if that card base is just off a tiny, tiny, tiny bit, it doesn't show and it doesn't drive me nuts. They were kind of, or you could see them on the front when you closed it, or you could see it right here. See this one, the way it lines up? If I had gone all the way to the edge, that dark strip would show right there. And you'd either have to try and trim it after your whole card was made. Do not recommend that. Or you just have to leave it. So I stopped going to the edges. I think that's better for me. It works out and I like it. And for the most part, they don't end up crooked. I do okay, practice. So I have thinking of you, hello, hello, thinking of you. I tried to make these really general because they're a little bit seasonal. What I find in my stash is if I make fall cards that are just like happy birthday or get well or that kind of thing, I don't necessarily get them used up. And some of them could have been because they were a stretch a long time ago and they were ugly. Do you have other ugly cards in your stash? I might need to go through and clear some out. Blessings. I was just trying like, what's a fall word that I like? And I like that it goes across all of them. You are amazing. On these shiny papers, I'm a little scared of stamping on them. Are you guys? And I didn't really honestly think about stamping on them until the very end. I was down to scraps. Like when I stamped on that, it wasn't much bigger than that. I just had to straighten it out a little. They stamped perfectly. I used my VersaFine ink and then I just let it, or it was VersaFine Clear. I don't know. This is the older one. The newer one's a little different. I just stamped and I let it dry. You know, drink your coffee. Works out fine. You can do that with sympathy. This die is hard for me. Like, Noni had to help me with it. Was I supposed to leave the little things in there? Maybe. Maybe I was. I don't know. Anyway, this is a little bit of a shimmer paper around the edge. And then I have the sticker across the bottom. Not loud for a sympathy card, but I want to get into using some specialty papers and some of those metals for sympathy. Like a sort of a New Year's Eve elegance look, maybe. I have a lot of specialty papers. And I need sympathy cards, so maybe there's opportunity. And I think Twyla was talking to me about metallics. Hello, double layer, using the papers, right? I'm not afraid to mix patterns. You can tell because I've got 3 in here. And then just a gold stripe. It is, or copper. It is a little bit crooked. Not gonna lie to you. And then this was, I think, my very last one. Scraps across there, a big oval, and then with sympathy. Oh, this is what I wanted to show you. If you were in the market for oval dies, which if you watch me, you'll probably get obsessed with them. I don't know what's wrong with them. The trick is to find really smashed ones too, so that they're the shape. If you have a bunch of those rectangle sentiments, or if you have a bunch of square ones, you don't need them as smashed. But if you're gonna look for oval dies, I highly recommend, look at me finding the package. Hero Arts Infinity Dies, nested shapes for die cutting. Now, their ovals could be more squished. There's 18 pieces. I remember these being like very expensive. They are made in China, sorry, but Hero Arts is a US company. But I recently saw this set at Joann. I think it was like $20 and then it was on sale. But if I was gonna buy dies, ovals, circles, I don't usually buy rectangles because I can cut them, but you can if you want. I would buy the Hero Arts Infinity die set, and I'll tell you why. There's a million of them, and they lay really close together. It's very hard for me to show you because my friend Zelda also likes Infinity dies. But if I had all the sizes, you would see that when these go on the magnet, it's almost solid. They're so close together. So what you don't want is, if you buy a set of nesting dies, you don't want them to have really wide borders. Maybe this is spellbinders, or big spaces between them. You actually want them to nest, and you want them to be tight so that you can adapt to any size die. The other thing about these tiny thinlit border ones compared to these is I had a heck of a time figuring out, was I going to be able to fit the With Sympathy into this tiny die because it has such a big border. Now, I think it does fit, but it's really hard to get it right because you can't see. And they put a big border in here too. If they would have thinned that out, I probably wouldn't have nicked that W. So if you're gonna do it, maybe you're gonna ask Santa, or you've been thinking, I would go with the Hero Arts ones. And remember, I'm never saying that you should buy products, but what I am saying is if you're going to buy them, buy the right ones the very first time if you can. You'll be so much happier. And also, I know I've said it before, but never buy something just because I have it. Always ask, because sometimes I just have something because someone gave it to me, or because 20 years ago that was the only thing they made when I got mine. Okay, so these are going in the scraps. That's kind of a lot for me. I might leave these two out, but I don't love them. Be sure to check out what Beth and Kathy made on theirs also, and come back again soon. We'll be back on the 7th for Smash Our Stash, and there's a good chance that I'll be back again before then. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Bye-bye.